Read to order. First item is approval of August 19th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 2 is field trips. That's just for information. Anybody have any questions or comments about those?
No.
Okay, we'll go on to number 3, Maple Street Magnet School Summer Professional Development with Dr. Aaron Mahoney.
Hi guys, thank you for having me here. I'm happy to report out on some of the great work that we're doing this summer. A short summer month, but we got a lot packed in. We had two main things to do for our professional development. One was having our whole staff get really dive into looking at data and using it as a tool to refine our practice. And the other part was looking at our project-based learning opportunities that we're providing and making sure they align with the district's core curriculum and competencies. So, I promised Dr. McDonald I would keep this brief, and I will not, because I could go on forever about this. So, really the data piece that we're looking at, we really benefited from this time together as a team. And I have to stress that because we left after 2 full packed days of just down to the bone working. We left totally jazzed to get this year started. And the data piece is really, the reason why we had that is we wanted to get folks more comfortable. We have a lot of new staff that are still green, and that's okay. It just provides us more opportunities to have and engage in these conversations. So the data, I had them look at the school-wide data from spring last year, and then what are we seeing school-wide and then in grade level? And then what is that looking like for us? I'm not sure, sorry. What is that looking for in terms of trends? What are we seeing? So yes, we're looking at numbers, but we're also looking at children as a whole. So it isn't just numbers. So what they did was we created a roadmap essentially that we are tracked out the whole year, and every month or every other month we're having cohorted data PLC, the professional learning community meetings, after school. So grades K through 2 meet together, 3 through 5 meet together, and then they alternate between reading specialists and special ed, and then they swap. So it's an alternating process. And they created this data sheet where they target and look at, I believe on the next slide, you'll see that we have the targeted skills, competencies that kids may need to, need enrichment in or more support. And then they look at the IXL, everyday math, and the other summative assessments, the new CKLA reading program. We also look at DIBELS and NEWA, fall, winter, and spring. What does this all mean? It basically means that we're diving into this and creating a more authentic, personalized learning plan for each kid. And that's their goal. So each time they meet, they have a running record of short-term goals that started, I think, September 1st was our first time that we sat down and started diving into this after we had a month of data. And now we have short-term goals. So each month we review this as a team. Which is great. So then it's really, not only do we have that long-term goal, we want to increase our percentage by this much in the spring, we now have, are we there yet in a month's time, and if not, why? And they're recording that information. So really excited to see that kicked off this year. The other big piece that we really are passionate about is that project-based learning for the magnet school. What does that look like? So we're making sure that things align to CKLA and the everyday math. What is really nice about this is we have a centralized location for all this information now. Our community garden project is no longer like K through 2 as it has historically been. It's K through 5. So if you're in kindergarten, you have some foundational skills of this community project-based learning piece. You go into 1st grade and you're building off these skills that you learn in kindergarten, develop them more in 1st, take it to another deeper level in 2nd, and so forth. So that's the work that we really did. And we looked at how we did that this spring, and we refined the tools, because that's just good practice. It's going to constantly be this fluid document, and we're going to adapt it to the kids' needs. The other piece that we were really excited about, we mapped out a plan for our project-based learning to develop these partnerships with the UNH Cooperative Extension and 4-H, and really dive into that agri-STEM, which is that agricultural STEM approach to education. Hands-on, personalized learning, authentic, meaningful experiences, where these kids are able to not only make connections of who they are within the school, but the whole point of, of our theme of sustainability and community is to show them how they're connected to the world outside the school. And that's what these opportunities are bringing us. We're really excited about this. It's still obviously a work in progress, especially with the new reading program. So things are going to change. This is a very much a fluid process for us, but it was great to have that time to really sit down and do this. And we're pretty excited to keep doing work with UNH. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Questions, comments,
excited.
Tom?
So you talked about, having your long-term goal of wanting to see the increase in percentages, and then your short-term goals, which I would imagine are tied to that.
Correct.
But what are the discussions, can you just show us how the discussions are around how you guys are evaluating those short-term
Right. So
percentages and maybe the environmental impacts and things like that come along with that?
yeah, that's those are everyday discussions that we have. So when we're not meeting in our cohort groups, it's every other week I'm meeting with the teachers and the specialists. And really what we're looking at, the data we're looking at, they're expected to come to these meetings with artifacts of the kids that they may be concerned with. So they're not only looking at the individual kids, they're looking at the whole class and the trends that they're seeing. So if they see, let's say on a math assessment, and there's a performance indicator that they really struggled with, and it's maybe half the class struggle with that, what are we doing, and what does that show us in terms of what do we need to adjust in that instruction? How can we go back and reteach this? So that really, the teachers do that anyway, because again, good practice, but having it formalized in these meetings really helps them kind of pull out and zoom out of their classroom and then look at any trends that may be occurring. So they could have had a struggle with, use simple, addition. Well, are they struggling with regrouping? So, and we're seeing this 3 months down the road, and they've mastered it here, here, and here, but they struggle in this pocket. Then we need to go back and look at what's the gap and where do we need to fill in that piece where they need targeted support. So that's what that data is going to show us.
And do you alternate the groups, on purpose as to just kind of get different perspective, different ideas?
Yeah, so we have our reading specialist meeting with, so this first time around we had our reading specialist meet with K1 and 2 first, because we know that's the primary grades of that foundational piece for reading. So strategically placing the specialist where they meet so they can review the beginning of the year goals for DIBELS, that was done for a reason. So we can hit the ground running with reading. We know that, let's say we have a little more conversation about, differentiation. Well, where's the strength in that? We have a special educator who's amazing at this. That's her strength. Let's pull her in and discuss any, problem-solving pieces to help classes 3, 4, 5. The next time we meet, special ed goes to K1-2, supports in differentiation, conversations, collaboration. Reading specialists can now tie in and check in with any push and support that she may get in the upper
I think it's
grades.
a great idea. I think it just expands the ability to really evaluate in a deeper sense, I think, and really drawing the resource that you have available. So that's great.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Are they gonna do the ROV again this year?
Yeah, that, we're working on, we've got half the year planned now for our VEs and our PBL. So once we kind of get through, I want to revisit that with the team probably in November. Because the goal is we'd like to do that again, because we want to incorporate Stream Safari, the citizen science. So once I'm able to connect more with UNH and engage in those conversations, my hope is that we'll be able to bring that through and maybe adapt a little bit more at the younger grades too, so we can have that hands-on piece.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The gardens look great, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they're a blast, the kids love them. Come by anytime, we got plenty of tomatoes, please, so many
If you
tomatoes.
haven't noticed, I deliver the young man who works the after-school program
Yes, I have
every
noticed.
day. And he brought home a handful of tomatoes the other day. And
Good.
his mother instantly turned them into wonderful salsa.
Oh, fantastic.
It was great, yeah.
Well, he can keep helping himself.
So it's a really nice garden.
Awesome, thank you, that means a lot, thank you.
Considering it's open in that neighborhood,
Well,
it's,
yeah, we've done a lot of work with the neighborhood, just to engage our neighbors. You know, it's who doesn't want to be nice with their neighbors, right? And really just making those connections. And a lot of that comes down to just talking with them. Like, if I'm working late and I see them out in the, you know, walking the streets with their dogs, we'll stop and talk. And same with the teachers and kids.
I just wish the chipmunks were as nice and friendly as mine.
Well, yes.
That's not on your neighborhood. The nice of mine.
They're awful. They're just rats with good names.
Okay, next
Thank
item
you.
is the
You're welcome.
5-year plan. You have anything?
So we'll continue to bring an instruction presentation to you every month because this is really what we're here for. And I think that we've been so far removed from talking about instruction and education that I think it's a great avenue to be able to just highlight that we still are here to instruct and educate. So we will come back next month with another presentation for you.
Okay, great, thank you. Any public comment? Any other? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? To adjourn.